Hey there YouTube, this is Carrie coming to you from the windy city of Poetry, Texas with another video on my smoker build. Here it is, it's complete, doing more testing, trying to dial it in, basically trying to figure out how the smoker likes to run and all of my settings. For those of you who are just catching my videos on my smoker, this is something I've been working on since December of 23. It is May of 24. I've got about 6 months work into this. Hats off to you professional pit builders who knock these things out quickly. This thing has been a lot of work. Cutting and fitting all the 3/16 and 1/4 inch plate steel. So for those of you who are also new to this video, one of my big features that I'm really proud of is, it's kind of my creation, is this, what I'm calling a diffuser right here. So this basically works the opposite of a collector. A collector, by its nature, gathers the heat and smoke from the cook chamber, brings it all together, and sends it out the stack. The diffuser, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. The diffuser takes heat and smoke from the firebox and disperses it evenly into the cook chamber, hopefully to reduce hot spots. So there are many other features on this smoker that are new. I'll go over them. I'll start kind of from the firebox end, work my way to the other end, going over all the features. I will tell you that from my limited experience playing with it, this smoker does like to run hot. It does not take much to build heat in the smoker. So if you'll notice, the top of the fire door is well below the top of the firebox. That's intentional. So again, for those of you just now tuning in, I come from a background as a professional firefighter with over 28 years of training and experience dealing with heat and smoke. So right now, before I mess with anything, I'm going to go ahead and check the temps. So this temp right here is the grate right next to the firebox. This is the center of the grate. This is the grate right next to the collector. So these thermometers are 4 inches above the grate. So they're all reading really close, really close. That was my hope with this smoker, with the design. I wanted to build a backyard smoker that would hopefully run like the center section of a 1,000-gallon offset. So now, going back to the features and the design. So you just saw the temps. We're going to check out the fire. Look, that's a nice pretty little fire. Perfect low flame. Look at the smoke coming out the stack. Nice smoke coming out the stack. The wind is gusting to about 20 miles an hour today. It's running about 8 miles an hour, gusting to 20. It's been very frustrating. We have an insulated firebox. The smoker started out as a 150-gallon tank. I cut it down to 120-gallon. I used the cut-off section of the tank in the bottom of the firebox to create a rounded section. There's a 3/4 inch. The firebox floor tapers 3/4 of an inch. So if it gets water in it, the water will drain out. That's another feature that I did. See, I wanted this thing to fold down nice and compact so that I could put a cover on it. So I also wanted a counterbalance on the door. So counterbalance on the door and a folding stack don't necessarily go together. So I put a folding counterbalance on this smoker so I can fold the counterbalance down, and then there's room to fold the stack. That's another one of my innovative features. The counterbalance on the door folds right back up, ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and open the smoker up. So there is the diffuser in action. There is the temperature probe that's on the firebox end of the grate. There is the temperature probe that's in the center of the grate. There is the temperature probe that's on the collector end of the grate. So we're running, within 10 degrees from end to end on the grate. I can tell you this smoker does heat really easy. Whenever I first started this thing, it was wanting to run 400 degrees. With the stack wide open, I was getting up to about 40 to 50 degrees difference in temperature from end to end on the grate. Once the thing settled back down into about under 300, then I was able to easily maintain single digits temperature differences across the grate by use of the damper on the stack. Now, for all you folks that are screaming, just open the damper up and let the stack go. On this smoker, whenever you do that, the stack will overdraw the cook chamber, and actually it becomes hotter on the firebox end and cooler on the stack end. So you have to choke back the stack to even out the temperatures. This does operate differently than a traditional offset. With a traditional offset, your draw creates a pull on the firebox, and the traditional offset, the heated smoke travel horizontally from the firebox into the cook chamber, and the draw of the stack is something that helps to facilitate that. With this firebox, so think about the way a hot air balloon works. A hot air balloon, the convection currents cause the hot air to rise, and as the air is heated, it expands. So that's why there is a chamber on the top of the firebox. The hot air rises in the firebox. Under pressure, it will enter into the diffuser and then come out into the cook chamber. So something I have added, for those of you who have seen my second video on this, I added an adjustable throat plate. So right there, I can slide that plate back and forth, and I can adjust the throat opening between the cook chamber and the firebox to between 48 square inches and 28 square inches. I have also added, let me get it. I have also added this piece of round bar right here hanging down on the top of the throat opening. The purpose of that is to create a low pressure area on the cook chamber side to help make the heat want to come around and go straight up. It's the Bernoulli effect, same thing, same way an airplane flies. So basically, piece of half-inch bar hanging down into the airflow, helping to make the heat and smoke come out and go straight up. Again, here is my throat plate. Slides back and forth. That way you can adjust the airflow from the firebox into the cook chamber. I do have the nice rotating handle. It's pretty nice. This is a feature I'm really proud of. It's my probe port. Everybody else is using a cable entry fitting. Has very little room to run your probes through. This thing has giant 1-inch hole that you can run your probes through. Another one of my features that I came up with. Oh yeah, for those of you that did not see my other videos, so right there is a sump. If you'll notice, I added a sump on the drain. That way, if this thing's off level just a little bit, the grease will still collect in the sump and then go out the drain. So originally I had my thermometers even with the ends of the grate right here on each end. Turns out I didn't like that. I thought that's not where I'm really going to be cooking. So I moved my thermometers to over the middle of each grate, 4 inches up. I figured that's the top of the meat. It's where the top of the meat's going to be. So I know what the top of the meat's being subjected to. The damper, right now I'm running about half damper. That's what seems to create enough back pressure to make the temperatures all level out. This damper does have detents on it. It's pretty cool, so you can basically repeat your settings very easy. Again, I didn't spare any feature that I thought was worthwhile. All worthwhile features have been included on this smoker. It has a 1 1/4 inch drain valve. I put a 45 on it and another pipe nipple, so instead of worrying about hanging the bucket or making a bucket hook, you can just set the bucket on the ground right under it. For those of you who did not see my earlier videos, when I cut this tank down, I figured out there was some tension on the tank metal. I was afraid that the door was going to spring on me whenever I cut the door opening. That's why I made these excessive hinges. So the door stayed put whenever I cut it. Everything worked out great. Again, if you're planning on building your own smoker, I cannot overemphasize how much of a pain in the rear it is to cut and fit 3/16 and 1/4 inch plate. It is quite the chore. Something else I made is this handy dandy tool, mainly for cleaning out the firebox, but you can also use it for pushing the coals around. It fits the radius of the bottom of the firebox. Another tool I made is this handy dandy tool for scraping grease out of the cook chamber. It fits the radius of the cook chamber. Hopefully it'll make it a lot easier whenever I'm cleaning the thing out. This thing is heavy. This thing is ridiculously heavy. I'm guessing 900 pounds. It's got 2-inch by 6-inch casters on it, and it's still, you have to really put some muscle into it to make it roll around. This is not its permanent home. I poured this concrete pad yesterday. It's going to be a week or two before I move it to its final resting place. I want to let the concrete cure good before I move the smoker over onto it and risk cracking it. There you can see the stack drawing just fine. You can also tell the wind. The wind's kind of low right now. It's been gusting to up to about 20 miles per hour. Thanks folks for watching my video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I will be posting a video as soon as time allows of a cook.